Sustainable agriculture, methods and processes. Sustainable is not yet a word with a clear-cut agricultural definition. It has been defined in many ways, but at its core lies a kind of farming that is, in a commonly used phrase, economically viable, environmentally sound, and socially acceptable, a kind of farming that encourages the farmer to earn a decent living growing good food on healthy land. A broad effort has emerged on farms and at research institutions to discover which farming approaches are truly viable, sound, and acceptable and how they can be put to use out on the land.
Sustainable agriculture puts the emphasis on methods and processes that improve soil productivity while minimizing harmful effects on the climate, soil, water, air, biodiversity and human health. Aims to minimize the use of inputs from non-renewable sources and petroleum-based products and replace them with those from renewable resources. Focuses on local people and their knowledge, skills, socio-cultural values and institutional structures. Ensures that the basic nutritional requirements of current and future generations are met in both quantity and quality terms and that agriculture can also generate additional products. Provides long-term jobs, adequate income and dignified and equal working and living conditions for everybody involved in agricultural value chains. Reduces the agricultural sector's vulnerability to adverse natural conditions, climatic, and socio-economic factors, strong price fluctuations, and to other risks.
Soil management. Conservation agriculture has been a focus of attention in recent years as a farming method that involves no-tillage, permanent organic mulch cover and extended crop rotation. These methods make the soil much less susceptible to wind and water erosion. Its structure improves, it can absorb and store water better, fewer nutrients are washed away and the number of soil-dwelling organisms increases. All in all, crops can draw on more nutrients. In a best-case scenario, the soil releases fewer greenhouse gases and may even store more carbon. Over the past 10 years, an average of 6 million hectares of conservation agriculture has been brought into cultivation each year. The main drawback of conservation agriculture is that the use of herbicides has been virtually inescapable up until now. The lack of plowing requires changes to weed management if wheat, soya, maize and other agricultural crops are to grow successfully. Organic agriculture. Organic farming is one type of sustainable farming. It has potential, especially for farms that still rely on traditional and extensive agricultural methods. Changing over to organic cultivation could significantly boost yields, for instance in sub-Saharan Africa. Switching to organic farming typically leads to a sharp drop in yields compared with intensive farming at prime locations with healthy soil and decent rainfall. Yet we need the high yields that intensive farming brings to feed the world's population. Therefore organic farming cannot feed the world alone in its present form but will instead have to be combined with other sustainable production methods. Soil nitrogen replacing mineral fertilizer. The past decade's increases in agricultural yields would have been impossible without mineral fertilizer. Subsidy schemes have made mineral fertilizer much cheaper in many developing countries and have thus helped to boost food production and improve food security. Until now, insufficient attention has been paid to the adverse effects on the soil and the environment of improper use of mineral fertilizer, with the exception of nitrous oxide emissions and their impact on climate change and nitrate leaching. Many tropical soils are acidic by nature, and mineral fertilizer speeds up the acidification process. Consequently, soil productivity deteriorates rather than improves in the long term, and the fertilizer cannot have its full effects. Synthetic nitrogen, which today makes up approximately 72% of the nutrients supplied through mineral fertilizer worldwide, takes a significant amount of energy to produce. Potassium, 15%, and phosphorus, 13%, which are exploited from natural deposits, account for the remainder. These resources are finite, so new strategies are needed for providing the soil with nutrients to make the use of mineral fertilizer sustainable. Wherever possible, organic fertilizer, manure, compost and green manure should meet the need for basic nutrients, with mineral fertilizers used only to cover any shortfall. Nitrogen produced as a result of the symbiosis between fungus and roots is a key factor in soil nitrogen supply. High-quality seeds. Most farmers in developing countries use their own seeds and propagating material. These items are adapted to local conditions, cultural needs and families' nutritional habits, but typically do not produce very high yields. In order to prepare farmers for climate change and other future challenges, diverse characteristics such as resistance to new diseases, pests and drought are becoming increasingly important. Traditional varieties often have these characteristics. In addition to cultivation techniques, plant breeding provides another opportunity to significantly improve yields from smallholder farming in developing countries. Modern varieties can be combined with local regional varieties or their characteristics, and farmers and professional seed growers can work hand in hand. National and international agricultural research institutes and non-governmental organizations are the main actors involved in participatory seed cultivation. The outcome may be better local seeds that are not protected by patents and are freely available for further breeding. However, commercial high-yield hybrid seeds are also essential to enhance productivity. Preserving agricultural biodiversity. Agricultural biodiversity encompasses the species, varieties and breeds that are used or available in agriculture. It is essential for productive, efficient and sustainable farming. The loss of diversity in agricultural crops was and remains attributable to increasing agricultural intensification and industrialization. A similar trend has emerged in animal husbandry. 3/4 of the world's cultivated plants and 690 livestock breeds have been irretrievably lost since the middle of the 19th century, and 20% of our agricultural livestock breeds are at risk of extinction. Around 4/5 of the world's 900 million starving people live in rural areas. Most of them are farmers and livestock owners. Their survival relies on a wide range of local crop varieties and locally adapted animal breeds in at times challenging environmental conditions. Hunger and poverty can be combated only if farmers are put in a position to farm successfully under these conditions and manage the scant resources available to them better and more sustainably. We therefore need to preserve and unlock the significant potential of agricultural biodiversity. Places that no longer traditionally preserve varieties by using them, as is the case today for millet in the Sal region or potatoes in Peru, always pay the price. It is also important to recognize that in helping farmers to adapt to climate change, agricultural biodiversity is an important new genetic reserve and insurance policy for the future, increasing its significance.